People may forget your title, but they will always remember how you made them feel. The janitor who owned the building. Chapter 1. The first day. The tall glass doors of the Sterling Group skyscraper slid open, letting in the cool morning breeze. Lucas stood in the warm sun outside, taking a deep breath. Today was his first day. He adjusted the crisp blue collar of his uniform and pulled his cleaning cart into the shiny marble lobby. Behind the front desk sat Olivia Brooks, the company's strict senior manager. She looked at Lucas through her thick glasses, her eyes scanning his faded uniform with cold doubt. "I knew hiring him was a mistake," Olivia whispered under her breath to her assistant, not even trying to hide her annoyance. Suddenly, an elderly man in a faded maintenance uniform stepped out from behind a large potted plant. It was Walter, a man who had taken care of this building for 30 long years. He smiled warmly at Lucas and extended a friendly hand. "You must be Lucas," Walter said, his voice soft and full of wisdom. "I'm Walter. I've been waiting for you." "Thank you, sir," Lucas replied, shaking his hand with genuine respect. "It's an honor to be here." Walter gestured to the bustling crowd of well-dressed businessmen and women rushing past them with expensive coffees and leather bags. "This building has many successful people, Lucas. I hope to learn from them," Lucas said humbly. Walter patted the young man's shoulder. "I hope they learn something from you. Remember this, son, a uniform doesn't define a man. It only tells people where he works. But character tells them who he really is." Chapter 2. The Lost Access Card. Up on the executive floor, the tension was always high. Lucas pushed his mop quietly along the polished floor, keeping his head down and doing his work carefully. Suddenly, a loud voice echoed down the quiet hallway. "Why do you have my access card?" It was Julian, a rising young executive known for his quick temper. He was glaring angrily at Lucas. In Lucas's hand was a blue high-security keycard. "Sir, I didn't touch your briefcase," Lucas explained calmly. "I saw it fall beside the coffee machine down the hall. I was bringing it right back to you." Olivia Brooks stepped out of her office, her arms crossed tight. "First day, and you're already making trouble? That card opens executive offices. So, why were you holding it?" "I was only trying to help," Lucas said softly, holding the card out with both hands. "I brought it straight here so no one else would take it." Olivia snatched the card away. "Next time, don't touch what isn't yours." Before Lucas could answer, an old, gentle voice called out from down the hall. An elderly executive walked over, watching the situation closely. "Is there a problem here?" the old executive asked. "He had my card, sir," Julian snapped. The old man looked at Lucas's honest eyes, then at Julian. "Sometimes we should ask before we accuse. Next time, show a little grace." Chapter 3. The Falling Papers. Later that afternoon, Julian was rushing down the hallway holding a thick stack of important papers for a huge board meeting. He was walking too fast, looking down at his phone, when he tripped over his own feet. The papers flew into the air, scattering everywhere like white leaves in the wind. "Oh no. My presentation," Julian gasped in panic. "It's ruined." Without hesitation, Lucas dropped his broom and knelt on the floor. With incredible speed and care, he picked up every single sheet, arranging them neatly by their page numbers. Within minutes, Lucas handed the neat stack back to Julian. "Don't worry, sir. I kept every page in order. Nothing's missing." Julian stood frozen, completely surprised. "That's impressive." Walter, who had been watching from down the hall with a broom in his hand, walked over with a soft smile. "Your janitor has remarkable character," Walter said to Julian. Julian scoffed quietly, trying to regain his pride. "He's just doing his job." "Sometimes," Walter replied gently, "just doing your job is exactly what reveals who you really are." Chapter 4. Sent away. A week later, disaster struck the top floor. A file cabinet containing confidential company documents had been knocked over, spilling sensitive files all over the carpet. Olivia Brooks marched into the room, her face pale with anger. Julian was standing nearby, pointing an accusing finger at Lucas. "What have you done?" Olivia shouted at Lucas. "I knew he'd mess something up." "I didn't touch the files, MS. Brooks," Lucas said, looking straight into her eyes. "I wasn't even the one carrying them." Julian stepped forward nervously. "They were fine until he got here. He knocked into them." Olivia raised her hand to stop the conversation. She had already made up her mind. "Please hand me your company ID, Mr. Hayes." "I'm sorry, but I have to protect this company." Lucas took a deep breath. He slowly unclipped his plastic ID badge and handed it to her. He did not yell, nor did he argue. "I understand," Lucas said quietly. "I hope the truth finds its way." As Lucas packed his small bag in the break room, a little girl named Lily, the daughter of the building's night security guard, ran up to him with a wrapped sandwich in her hands. "Mr. Lucas." "You're leaving?" she asked, her big eyes full of sadness. "I think my work here is finished, Lily," Lucas said with a kind smile. Lily held out her sandwich. "My grandpa says good people shouldn't leave hungry. Please take this." Tears welled up in Lucas's eyes. "Thank you, Lily. I'll never forget your kindness." On his way out, Lucas handed his locker key to Walter. "Here you go, Walter. I won't be needing it anymore." As Lucas turned to leave, a small photo slipped out of his pocket and fell to the floor. Walter picked it up. It was a picture of an old man sitting in a grand office. Walter stared at the photo, his eyes widening in shock. "Where have I seen that photograph before?" Walter whispered to himself. Chapter 5. The Missing Truth. Days passed, but the executive floor was in total chaos without Lucas. The computer system suddenly crashed during a major project. The staff panicked. "Why isn't it working?" Julian screamed at his monitor. "We're already behind schedule. Call IT now." The IT technician ran in, checked the system, and sighed. "Everything should be working. This doesn't make sense." "Wait, someone bypassed the system manually last week to save the files from crashing. Who did this?" Walter stepped forward from the back of the room. "Lucas did. He saw the problems before anyone else." Olivia turned to Walter in disbelief. "Why didn't he tell me?" "Because nobody was listening," Walter said softly. Just then, Julian gasped as he pulled open his bottom desk drawer. Sitting right there was his lost wallet, the one he had accused Lucas of stealing a week ago. Next to it was a note in Lucas's handwriting, found near the lounge. "Kept safe for you." Julian's face went completely white. "This is my wallet. I've been looking for it all morning. Lucas found it. And I completely forgot." Olivia sank into her chair, her heart heavy with guilt. "The honest man was the one we sent away. What have we done?" Julian grumbled, trying to defend himself. "Being honest doesn't mean he belongs here. We still made the right decision." Walter walked up to Julian, looking him dead in the eye. "Son, character is revealed when no one is watching. Lucas was protecting us, even after we hurt him." Chapter 6. The Secret Meeting. 2 weeks later, an urgent message was sent to every executive in the building. A mandatory emergency board meeting had been called by the mysterious chairman of the Sterling Group, a man no one had ever seen in person. Inside the grand boardroom, the long mahogany table was surrounded by nervous managers. Olivia and Julian sat near the front, whispering to each other. "A board meeting?" Julian whispered. "They only call one when something huge is happening." The heavy double doors opened, and a distinguished older gentleman in a tailored suit walked in. It was Mr. Bennett, the head of the board. "Good morning, everyone, Mr. Bennett said, stepping to the front. He looked around the room, counting the chairs. "Before we begin, is everyone here?" Olivia checked her list. "Yes, Mr. Bennett." Everyone is here. Not yet, mister. Bennett corrected gently. One seat is still waiting. No important meeting should begin until everyone expected is here. Some meetings are about business. This one is about character. Suddenly, the doors swung open again. A tall man in a dark blue, perfectly tailored designer suit walked into the boardroom. He carried himself with quiet confidence and warmth. The entire room went silent. Olivia dropped her pen. Julian's jaw dropped open. It was Lucas. Chapter 7. The True Chief Executive. Isn't that the cleaner who left? A board member whispered. I thought he was dismissed. Mister. Bennett smiled warmly and walked over to Lucas, shaking his hand firmly. Lucas, I'm glad to see you again. It's good to see you too, mister. Bennett, Lucas replied smoothly. Olivia stood up, her voice trembling. Why is he here? Why would the chairman want to meet a janitor? Mister. Bennett turned to face the entire room, his voice echoing with authority. For the past 6 months, this company has been conducting a final leadership evaluation, Mr. Bennett announced. We weren't testing profits. We were testing people. We wanted to see how our managers treated someone they thought was beneath them. Mr. Bennett gestured toward Lucas with deep pride. I officially introduce you to Sterling Group's next Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Lucas Hayes. Gasp. The room exploded into shocked whispers. The janitor? Julian gasped, turning pale. No, mister. Bennett corrected sharply. The leader. A title never made Lucas worthy of respect. His character did. Lucas walked calmly to the head of the table. He looked at Olivia, who was standing frozen with tears of regret in her eyes. Lucas. Olivia stuttered, her voice shaking. I judged you before I ever knew you. I'm truly, deeply sorry. Lucas looked at her with kindness, without a single drop of anger in his heart. I accepted your apology the moment it became sincere, Olivia, Lucas said softly. The real apology isn't words. It's how we treat the next person who has nothing to offer us. Chapter 8. A New Day. The next morning, the sun shone bright and clear over the Sterling Group building. Olivia stood at the front entrance, holding the heavy glass door open with a warm, genuine smile as the morning workers poured in. Good morning, Olivia said kindly to a young junior staff member. Welcome to Sterling Group. Thank you, Ms. Brooks, the worker replied, surprised by her warmth. Down the hallway, Lucas walked in, dressed in his executive suit. He stopped by the janitor's closet where old Walter was preparing his mop bucket. Lucas didn't walk past. Instead, he grabbed a clean cloth from the cart and helped Walter wipe down the main entrance sign. You don't have to do that, sir, Walter said with a warm laugh. Lucas smiled, clapping his old friend on the shoulder. We all work here together, Walter. As people walked by, watching the new CEO work side by side with the old janitor, they finally understood the lesson. People may forget your title, but they will always remember how you made them feel.